lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord God that make out the heavens and the earth. Many trust in chariot and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Yes, it's the TGF edition of Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. This morning, how are you faring? How's your night? How did you fare? Hope you slept well. The weather was so cool this morning. I mean, even yesterday night it was raining. Throughout yesterday it was raining, the drizzling somewhere across Nigeria. We saw that the whole place was just cooling up, all thanks to the rain. Thank God for the rain. And the whole place was just cool. I'm sure you're having a great time today. Waking up, just wake up from your bed. Some persons are feeling cold already. It's feeling chilling here, in the live studio of I-FLIER 103.3 FM IBADAN. The feel here is cool, and I hope you're also feeling cool wherever you are at the moment. Let's get started. On the pages of our newspapers, we're going to take a look at some of the news making headlines this morning. My name is SAMSON OMOTOSHO. Good morning, Nigerians. Welcome to Press Drive. So let's begin with the Nation newspaper this morning from several dailies that I have in front of me. From the Nation newspaper, new tax laws to open up economy, says Tinubu there. And another story says why federal government is running 3 budgets simultaneously by budget office. Also, Tinubu says bus terminals will curtail one chance ease traffic woes in the Federal Capital Territory. Also, we could see another story here says PDP Board of Trustees opposes Ayon's return as National Secretary. PDP Board of Trustees opposes Ayon's return as National Secretary. Also, Wando posts 172% growth in the first quarter of 2025. In the entertainment session of the Nation, Biodun Stephen joins forces with Kayode Kasum for Unclaimed. Okay, so TJ Man or your governor, charity man's mom's person. Also screening for Miss Niger Delta ends in Rivers. Let's take a look at other news from the entertainment sessions. Sayu Dantata's daughter set for marriage. Also, Wale Tinubu stands tall at 58. Okay, I guess this is Tinubu's son. All right. So stands tall at 58 is not really visible in the government, but then he's just one of those lone ranger. Also, Awele Elumelu's footprint at 55. You can take a look at that news as well. Also, Alan Onyema shot critics. Okay, you can take a look at that particular story in the politics section of the Nation newspaper. Hashim at 56, a life of activism, politics, service. Also, National Assembly, midterm and the task ahead. Also, yes, National Assembly midterm and the task ahead. Soludo, Umosu, and battle for Anambra. Okay, so look forward to that poll, the governorship poll. Let's see what comes out of it. The Guba poll, I beg your pardon. Also, we're looking at it. Ogun West governorship aspiration. The chain is broken. The siege is over. Who said so? Take a look at it on the Nation and check out who is spilling those words. Also, Senate OK's Rivers Electoral Commission chair nominee amid protests. Senate OK's Rivers Electoral Commission chair nominee amid protest. Also, fix your internal crisis. Stop blaming Tinubu. Shehu Sani tells opposition parties. Okay, so Shehu Sani now he's speaking. All right, fix your internal crisis. Stop blaming Tinubu. Shehu Sani tells opposition parties. Also, 2027 ahead. Shakiri APC leaders endorse Tinubu. Obore worries re-election. The Shakiri APC leaders endorse Tinubu. Obore worries re-election. That's the much we'll be able to take. Okay, let me take a look at the sports session of the nation. Arsenal agree Norgard deal. Okay, that's another recruitment for the Gunners. Also, Ronaldo to extend Al Nassr's stay there. I mean, he earns a lot over there, so he would have to stay for another till 2027. All right, Paris FC completes Simon's signing from Nantes. Okay, so President Fadi at the President Federation Cup. Also, Super Falcons land in Casablanca ahead of WAFCON. Okay, so that's the much we're able to take on the nation. All right, so moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. This morning on the front page, you can see the photos. Tinubu reunites Wike, Fubara, Rivers lawmakers. All right, so Tinubu is reuniting them. Maybe is it up to 6 months to be suspended? It's not up to 6 months, but maybe we might be, finding someone returned back to his office. Might be returning to his office in no time, even after settling the crisis between Wike and Fubara. Also, Secretary Tosso, confusion as PDP crisis persists over NEC meeting. Okay, Secretary Tosso, confusion as PDP crisis persists over NEC meeting. Also, 6 killed as IED explodes in Imo market. All right, so this is not a good news. United Nations calls for restraint after deadly Kenya protest. Right, the protest seemingly looking like he was a peaceful one turned violence at the end of the day, but the UN has called for restraint after deadly Kenya protest. Also, I worked for almost 2 years without a sit down with president. Okay, so speaking here, you need to look at who is speaking. That's Tinubu's ex-aide. Says I worked for almost 2 years without a sit down with president. Okay, those are revelations. All right, so let's take a look at other news again. So killer of Salome Adaidu sentenced to death by hanging. Don't forget about the so-called artist, music gospel artist who allegedly, has been found guilty already, has killed and butchered his girlfriend. All right, so he's been sentenced to death by hanging. All right, so police rescue 46 trafficked victims from Ghana to Nigeria. Also, Yanomo community seeks Edo government Oba intervention. Over what exactly? Over land disputes with army. All right, so we hope that that will be settled in no time. Also, Ondo village head arrested for alleged rape of a minor. There's rejoinders to my article on the Israel-Iran war. All right, so that's coming from Izekwene. Azu Izuekwene, he's speaking, Shekwene rather, he's speaking there. Also, we could see another story here. Says, why is River State being disrespected by Donu Kugbara? And extraterrestrial solutions needed for Nigeria's problems by Adekunle Adekoya. Okay, let's take a look at if there are other news making the rounds in there. Okay, so Fubara Amawule meet in Abuja for peace talk. Also, PDP crisis. You overstepped your authority. Wabara blast Damagun there. And PDP isn't his personal property, Bode George tackles Wike there. Also, let's take a look at this. Here 2027, Governor Rada dismisses rumor of VP ambition. Okay, there are so many unclaimed talks at the moment. Lagos government denies involvement in demolition of Obi's brother's property. Also, we'll take a look at this again. Nigerian newspaper review. PDP crisis deepens as NWC members counter Damagun, insist Ayaun not reinstated. Okay, so that's much we will take on the Vanguard. Let's take a look at the Daily Post. All right, so moving on to the Daily Post newspaper this morning. Rivers, Tinubu meets Wike Fubara and lawmakers. We said that earlier. Also, again, NJC overrules Governor Uzodinma over Imo Chief Judge, fires 10 judges over there. And in politics, National Assembly will resolve Rivers political crisis, says Akpabio. You have 10 days to account for missing 200 trillion naira. Senate tells NNPCL boss, says you have 10 days to account for missing 200 trillion naira. Senate tells NNPCL boss. Also, abductors of Benue Links passengers demand 350 million naira ransom. Don't forget, on Monday we talked about this that happened. Abductors of Benue Links, they were robbed, and right now they've been abducted and asking for 350 million naira from the government and, of course, the family of the victims. Tinubu signed tax reform bills into law. Tinubu signs tax reform bills into law. Also, civic rights groups petition NSA over alleged executive interference in trial of illegal minors. Civil rights group petitions NSA over alleged executive interference in trial of illegal minors. Also, Wike NLC vows to shut down Federal Capital Territory over area council workers' strike. Also, Makinde names a Polytechnic Ibadan after ex-governor Olunloyo. You can take a look at that as well. Bandits take control of Kankara, a local government area in Katsina. Bandits take control of Kankara local government area in Katsina. And lastly, this morning, court sentences killer of Salome Adaidu to death by hanging. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, on the news, federal revenue agencies face shake-up as Tinubu signs tax bills. On the Punch newspaper, also Senate fumes as NNPCL shuns 210 trillion naira audit probe. Also, PDP BOT defies INEC backs Makinde block for NEC meeting. Another story says Nigeria exports 82% of crude as local refineries starve. Nigeria exports 82% of crude as local refineries starve. There's a picture here. Tinubu meets Fubara, Wike, Rivers lawmakers in Abuja. Also, deep fakes, looming crisis for 2027 election. Who is speaking here about deep fakes? You can read further on the Punch newspaper. IG probes officers 2 million naira retirement pay claim in viral video. IG probes officers 2 million naira retirement pay claim in viral video. Okay, so lastly, this morning, federal government provides healthcare access to 2,700 vulnerable Bauchi Jigawa patients over there. Let's take a look at it for the rest of this news, and of course, dealing with it in details. We're going to get back to it. Please stay with us. All right, so joining me on the program this morning, as always, on the TGF edition of a show like this, is Honorable Femi Adebisi from a lot of persons. Let's take a look at this news quickly. Federal Revenue Agencies face shake-up as Tinubu signs tax bills. Also, Customs NUPRC, MDA's May seed tax collection of NRS. New VAT sharing formula begins January 1, 2026. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday signed into law 4 tax reform bills, declaring that it signals Nigeria's readiness for modern economic growth and international investment. Following Tinubu's assent to 4 tax reform, and it came hours after he signed 4 executive orders suspending the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services and the excise duty escalation on locally manufactured vehicles. The committee, inaugurated on August 8, 2023, comprised experts from both the private and public sectors. It was mandated to retrofit various aspects of tax law reform, fiscal policy design and coordination, harmonization of taxes and revenue administration. We're seeing the tax bill has been passed to law at the moment. What does this portend for Nigerians?
Well, yes, I want to just begin by congratulating His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu on this very, very laudable feat. Yes, he has achieved something very, and of course that happens to be his, the areas of his strength. That's why, it should be jacked up to 10% and later, 15%. But that was rejected by, the
Senate.
The Senate. Yes, I also salute the courage and dexterity of the office of the people. Yes, and applause to them. Yes, another one I'm seeing here is development levy. So that is, you are giving the public something here, you are taking it away from the other angle. So between 4% to 2%, of probably the company tax, be diverted to what you call development levy. And of course, VAT exemption. Yes, VAT exemption on medical and pharmaceutical products, basic food items, agro and aqua based staple foods, educational materials, baby products, locally produced fertilizer, renewable energy and all that. Yes, it is not sufficient for us to get income. According to FDB, there was a report about Nigeria titled Making Nigeria's Capital Work Better for Its Development, released yesterday by the African Development Bank. Yes, if we get so much, maybe we might just, for example, comparing Nigeria to South Africa, our budget at the federal level now stands as between about 28 billion. Meanwhile, if you go to South Africa is appropriating up to about 130 billion. So you can see the margin that is so wide. So can we level up? So if we get so much, according to FDB, how do we make our capital work for sustainable economic growth and development, so that the bulk of it will not be swept away by what you call official graft? Yes, that is our major problem.
All right.
So that is one. And two, yes, while I'm saluting the dexterity of His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu in this regard, yes, I hope the reform will be extended to NNPC. So that, because you just read about 200 trillion naira, being misappropriated. And of course, the legislators are championing that.
Let's quickly get down to that story.
All right.
For want of time. Senate films as NNPCL shuns 210 trillion naira audit probe. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Thursday failed to appear before the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, probing alleged financial discrepancies amounting to over 200. Despite being summoned, no officials or external auditors from NNPCL showed up. However, representatives from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and Department of State Services were present. In response to NNPCL's absence, the committee issued a 10-day ultimatum demanding the company's top executives appear before the panel by July 10 or face constitutional sanctions. A letter from NNPCL's Chief Financial Officer, Dakpo Shegun, dated June 25, was read at the session. It cited an ongoing management retreat and requested a 2-month extension to prepare necessary documents and responses. The letter partly read, in quote, it says, having carefully reviewed your request, we hereby request your kind consideration to reschedule the engagement for 2 months from now to enable us to collate the requested information and documentation. Furthermore, members of the board and the senior management team of NNPCL Limited are currently out of the office for a retreat, which makes it difficult to attend the rescheduled session of Thursday, 26th June 2025. In quote again, while appreciating the opportunity provided and the importance of this engagement, we reassure you of a commitment to the success of this exercise. Please accept the assurances of our highest regards. He says, end of quote. But the lawmakers rejected the request. The committee chairman Ali Wadada said NNPCL was not expected to submit documents, but rather provide verbal responses to 11 key questions previously sent. For an institution like NNPCL to ask for 2 months to respond to questions from its own audited records is unacceptable.
Oh yes, you see, the financial discrepancies at NNPC is so alarming and is an indication of deeper systemic issue within that particular organization. And of course, the Senate's proactive stance is crucial in addressing these irregularities and ensuring that the NNPC leadership of, they do the needful. So, well, you see, the magnitude of this discrepancy is so high and so alarming. The Senate in their investigation flagged about 210 trillion in discrepancies, which include 103 trillion in accrued expenses and 107 trillion listed as receivables. Such vast sum indicate a severe lack of financial oversight and transparency. And of course, I remember our president promising Nigerians that what we call blockchain technology will be introduced in what we call government businesses.
Whereby it is all channeled to a particular part.
Yes.
Everyone can see it.
Once you enter a transaction like this, it will go into the space, go into the cloud. You can't retrieve except key people that are having key to that. So, so that one will check what you call official graft in a whole lot of ways. So, but of course, up till now, I mean, that should be over 1 year now. So one thing is for the executive to promise something, another one is to implement. So we are all bunch of ideas, but of course, nobody is always there to make sure that those ideas come into fruition.
Now let me just quickly ask this because of our time. What do you think? Okay, let's go for this quick time out. When we're back, because I've been signaled that we need to go for this quick short break. When we're back, the program continues. Please stay with us.
Buying the right product is inconvenience. Either you're buying for your business or home use. Femiel Multiventures, your ultimate shopping destination, stands out when it comes to meeting your event and family needs. Explore our wide range of products and services today. Buy affordable wholesale foods and drinks for your next event or home use. We are also the best blog to get your rentals, chairs, plates, spoons, tables, coolers, drums, and all you need for your next event. At Femiel Multiventures, we also sell solid, durable, and affordable ice blocks to keep your drinks cool and refreshing. Come one, come all to also try our eatery and experience delicious meals like never before. You can find us at number 1 Pineapple Area, Iletitun, along Oki Ogungbade axis. Telephone 0912 345 4561 or 0904 254 5770. Femiel Multiventures, your one-stop shop. Evidence of things not seen.
All right, so welcome back from that commercial. So let's take a look at this one. They've been issued. The Senate issued a 10-day ultimatum to the NNPCS executive to come appear before the Senate committee to explain themselves verbally how 210 trillion naira was misappropriated.
Well, yes, I don't know the reason why they will need up to about 2 months to come and defend something that, of course, they themselves wrote. I hope you understand. So, but of course, the Senator Wadada is magnanimous enough to say, okay, please, you have 10 days. And I think they need to honor this. Otherwise, well, I don't know.
Nigerians should be aware.
Our Senate is just more or less like a toothless bulldog. I don't know. Similar thing happened.
But they said this time they are going to invoke their constitutional duty.
Of course they do. But of course, in most cases, what if somebody somewhere is interested? Yes, that is the issue. In fact, I think at this stage, when the audit alarm has been raised by the Senate, I hope the next person, the next institution that will not be investigating them now, and they are now issuing directly to the incumbent that you have to do this and provide this document. Why are they for dragging?
All right, so let's take a look at this particular news. Nigeria exports 82% of crude as local refineries starve. Amid cries of crude shortage by local refineries in Nigeria, the country exported 82% of its crude oil in the first quarter of 2025. The Punch reports, according to a report published by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, only 18% of the crude was made available to local refineries. Nigeria has the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, one of the largest refining complexes in the world, with 650,000 barrels per day nameplate capacity. The federal government owns the Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries, while some private players operate different modular refineries. Aside from the state-owned facilities, Dangote and other modular refineries in the country have repeatedly complained of low crude supply, hindering their capacity to produce enough fuel for the country. According to the report by the NUPRC, an average of 1.57 million barrels of the crude oil was lifted in the first quarter of the year. Out of these, 1.29 million barrels per day were sold in foreign countries, while 280,000 barrels per day were allocated to local refineries. It's for crude supply.
Oh, yeah.
It's for crude supply.
Oh, yeah. That is the biggest problem we are having in the country today. That is where it lies. Now, our crude production. Okay, let me explain how it is. Nigeria entered into what you call joint ventures with, big international company that drills oil. I hope you understand. So our own share, is what comes to the NNPC. And NNPC has they have the right to the NNPC. And NNPC they have the right to sell to their local refinery at their own price. Nobody, that is what you call servicing your debt on one side, and at the same time get at least something reasonable to service the budget. So balancing the risk is our problem now to bring in crude. I hope you understand. So that's why I was saying some time ago,
with the crisis in from
Iran,
Israel, and Israel.
Yes, I think that is subsiding gradually now, and of course Iran is producing again. So maybe in a few days we'll see maybe reversion to maybe about $65 per barrel that we have before the crisis. So that one is possible. So, but be that as it may, Nigeria need to reform the NNPC in such a manner.
I want us to quickly cite this quickly before I open the phone lines, and I want us to be very succinct with this. In 1986, there was oil boom, right, in Nigeria.
Yeah, 70s.
The 70s, 80s, and all of that.
During the US-Iraq war, we have
exactly. Now, we are having similar situation right now. Iran, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, they're having a lot of issues. Isn't these, don't you think this could have been an opportunity for Nigeria to experience another oil boom?
Yes, of course, it should be an opportunity, but we missed the opportunity due to key reasons. The first is that the crude that we produce are being used, the bulk of it are being used to service debt. So in those days, it wasn't like that. So all the monies come into our kitty. That's number one. And number two, you see, the crude that we produce, we don't have enough to service our local refineries. In those days, we service our refineries, so we are not buying from outside for our local refinery. But today, you have to buy from, so it's like you are getting money on one side and, spending it on the other side. So at the end of the day, you still have deficit. So that is our problem. Otherwise, by now, Nigeria ought to be smiling. But of course, the reverse is the case.
All right. So, well, I hope we don't get into another sorry state in Nigeria. Last in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu on yesterday held a closed-door meeting with key political actors from Rivers State in the move to resolve the prolonged crisis rocking the state. The meeting held at the presidential villa in Abuja brought together the suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike, Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly Martin Amewule, and the members of the state legislature. President Bola Tinubu suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Recall that Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers on March 18, 2025. During the declaration, Tinubu suspended Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and the entire State House of Assembly, citing escalating insecurity and their inability to cooperate effectively. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Speaker of the House, Rivers State House of Assembly Martin Amewule, and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike. We could see them in the picture. However, Thursday's meeting was said to be part of reconciliation efforts. A photograph from the villa showed Tinubu, Fubara, Wike, and the state lawmakers who attended the meeting. So we could see a lot of handshake. Multiple sources said the session ended on a friendly note, with Fubara and Amewule seen holding hands and sharing laughter. Could this be the end of an era for the sole administrator in Rivers State?
In fact, I did mean that this meeting, took place before June 12th. June 12th had been marked as the day for the announcement of this, So, but, when then I was saying, weep not Fubara. If you go to a devil to ask for, a favor, yes, there are prices that are attached to it. So in politics, that shows us that the first immediate constituency to be well respected is the office of the Godfather. What do you do? So it is whatever the Godfather, the people at the center, whatever they want, go. Because that is how Nigerian political space is designed. I'm sorry for the people of Rivers State.
All right, so two lines officially open: 0705 500 1033, 0705 500 1033, or 0905 444 1033. You can begin to call in right now. We're also streaming live on Facebook at I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Comrade Ojawo. You're welcome.
Comrade Ojawo from Olodo.
Welcome, sir.
I've been honorable.
It's greeting you.
Okay, good morning, my comrade.
I want to ask, what is the National Assembly and the press grade to make sure that people know the situation of things in NNPC? What are they doing? They're supposed to make the public know the problem. How federal government secure loan, even the central bank, how they secure loan, and using coup to service to pay the loan.
Good morning, doctor.
All right. So, well, Barka Jimo, he says, my prof, an honorable pastor, politician, public, okay, a lot. Barka Jimo, well, and all is likely to be well in Rivers State. I know Fubara have learned his lessons. On the musician sentenced, I pray he will not appeal. Let the judgment take effect quickly. On the judgment of the young man who murdered his girlfriend. Also, Kolawole Adaramola on Facebook says, good morning this morning to all. Please, I want to confirm if Poly Ibadan is is Poly Ibadan a state polytechnic or federal?
It's state.
It's a state polytechnic. As the right? Does he have the right to
Yes.
rename a federal polytechnic
He
if
does.
it
He's
is?
the visitor.
Just want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's saying that. All right. So also we're seeing Sharif Sulaiman Sharif says good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio regarding the tax bills. Until the government regulates prices of goods and services, the poor will still pay more. Those providers of goods and services will increase the prices. The poor will still pay by proxy. Okay, thank you so much for your comment on Facebook. Also, Olashinde Abib Kamadupe from says, well done from Opemi area, Bagin Ibadan. Also, Olashinde Abib, okay, he sends emoji, love emoji to us also here. All right, so studio line still open 0705 510 33 or 0905 444 1033. We'll go for this quick timeout. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us.
Are you looking for the perfect spot to host your next event? Or maybe a cozy place to relax and have some fun? Welcome to Feniel Multipurpose Hall. Whether it's a wedding, birthday, seminar, or family gathering, our event center is perfectly designed to give you a grand experience. You can as well watch football matches at our viewing center, which brings the stadium experience right to you. For the kids, our children playground is packed with fun and safety. We also have a game center with varieties to keep the fun going, and a guest house for relaxation and comfort. Why settle for less when you have the best? Located beside Eagle Flight Academy, Amero, along Oki Ogungbade axis, Ibadan. Visit Femiel Multipurpose Hall today or call us on 0912 345 4561 or 0904 2.
Election, but let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Samson.
Good morning, Pastor. You're daily welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, my honorable sir.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome, sir.
I was yes, sir. I'm Pastor Odele speaking from Alakia. I want to ask you a question, my honorable sir. Because the news, the information we are hearing concerning this polytechnics of Ibadan doesn't make somebody to be happy at all. Is polytechnic Ibadan still existing in name or in reality? Because those students, some students that we are so much used to, that we are close to, the kind of information we are getting there is not even encouraging at all. There is doesn't help the future of the students that are being on admission in that polytechnics. Now they've changed the name of that polytechnics now to Honolulu Lawyer. The issue is that is the state government giving this institution attention? Let him go and find out what is there. They are destroying the destiny of the students that are going there. I have some examples, those who are closer with me here. Good morning.
Oh, well, you see, the state governor is the visitor to that institution. And of course, yes, of course, he is occupying that position in trust for the people. So if the people now say, okay, no to that changes, yeah, of course, it's going to be no. Because it happened at UNILAG, University of Lagos. He said the federal government, the president who was the visitor said, okay, it should be renamed Moshood Abiola University. But of course, that was resisted by the alumni and the people of Lagos State. Similar thing can happen here in Ibadan. We have a whole lot of people in history, like Adegoke Adelabu. He has not been seriously, you have people like that, Akinloye and all those stuff. So if we should be naming everything after the people, it means that, yes, any public space, you just see everything being named after the people. Why the governor might want to think that if the alumni resist, the change of name.
All right. So while we dwell on that, I've heard a lot of complaints about that since yesterday.
Yeah.
That it was renamed. But let's take this call before I get to that.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Caleb Alabi from Malaka Shago Road.
You're welcome.
I just want to comment on this four tax reform bill that has been signed to law by the president. Among the benefits to be derived that worker earning below 250,000 will be exempt from tax, while the essential good will be free from VAT. My question is that this policy is good if all what has been highlighted is going to go by. But the question is that Nigeria is good at formulating a policy, but at the end, the implementation. Look at this dictionary system. when the policy was first introduced, everybody imbibed it. See, at the end, the thing formed at the end. I want the federal government to make sure so that this policy they put in place should not go the other way around. Secondly, I want to commend the Oyo State government for mobilizing the former governor of Oyo State, or Governor Oluloyo. There's nothing done for that Baba that is too much. He's a technocrat. He has impacted many lives. So I pray that God will grant Baba the happiness. Have a nice working day.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation. A lot has been going on, conversations ongoing about the renaming, or naming that particular institution after the late governor of Oyo State. Some persons are asking, the park has been named after him. Some things are
not even a park. The road down to the
so
that particular
Hello,
airport.
good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello, can you hear us?
Paulo Loyo is probably to reject the Polytechnic of Ibadan. I think it was about the first lecturer, rector of that particular institution. Yes, of course, but don't forget Melambi Hall. A hall, something within that particular educational space can be named after Oluloyo. But I am very much particular about that particular institution being renamed the Polytechnic University Ibadan. That would have been the best for me. And name something very, a particular monument within that particular space, after Oluloyo. I have been eager to see that place transform into a university while they still remain, they still retain the status of a polytechnic as well. So the two match together. That is the international best practices now. So most universities are even reverting to polytechnic status. That is the one, because we need technology. We need to breed, more of technicians to service our industrial needs. So that is what Nigeria needs today. So, I think I fall in line with the man being immortalized, while also I also share the sentiment of the alumni that, of course, maybe I also share the sentiment of the alumni that, of course, maybe they don't even want that particular change in the name. But, of course, something, a kind of monument within that, with the Polytechnic named after Baba. But, of course, the best honor to him is to see that place transformed into a better space where we produce quality, technicians for the nation.
A lot of persons were arguing, especially alumnus of the school. Many of them are just saying, okay, why not name a library within the school after him, a hall after
maybe
him,
faculty of engineering,
a faculty
or
after. The name of the school has been, a very big name, so to say, in the history of Nigeria. My major concern
is that for every politician, anybody that died, you will have to be naming everything. Then
Sorry, let's take this call. Good morning. Morning to you, sir.
I'm speaking with Dele. I'm calling from Nothing is too much to give Mr. Oluloyo. I'm not a small boy. I wasn't a small boy at the time. He was a leader called governor. 3 months. He was only a man of circumstances. He was asked to come to Limelight to challenge Chief Bonegi. I see two of them of equal strength before me. Anytime Bonegi was his name mentioned, I will adjust my position because he was a man of integrity as well. Yeah.
All right.
When anyone that is in life, he must be careful his mind.
All right.
So, Mr. Oluloyo, if that thing is named after him, it was constituted.
Okay.
Finally, see Bonegi as well. Any property, anything he did, and they take only one. And I like that